We are back on the Suffolk Crunch on this Thursday evening. It's Rich here. I know there's another couple of town pods are live at the minute, so if you're watching this on catch up, get involved in the comments. If you're watching live, yeah, get involved. We will go for 75 likes on this video. Hit subscribe, and yeah, if you turn on your notifications bell when we go live, you will be notified and you'll be able to get involved in the chat. Anyway, another sign-in for town this evening. Darnell Furlong from West Bromwich Albion signing on a 3-year deal. Let's get it up here. Ipswich Town have confirmed the signing of right back Darnell Furlong from West Bromwich Albion. Louis Fenton, good evening. Yeah, lively 24 hours, mate. Clubs agreed a 3.5 million deal with a further 500,000 if Town are promoted at the end of the season. He's 29, travelled to Suffolk today. 3-year deal with an option of a further season. He was born in Luton. Here we go. He was born in Luton, came through the ranks at QPR. I think he played about 70 appearances for them. Also played on loan at Northampton, Cambridge United and Swindon, and then he made the move to the Hawthorns in 2019. 227 appearances, 20 as sub. 11 times he has found the score sheet. He's also captained the side. He can play left back, he can play centre back, but predominantly he is a right back. And it leads us now with, he becomes the 6th ex-West Brom player at the club alongside Connor Townsend, who's sadly injured, Dar O'Shea, Alex Palmer, David Button and Cedric Kipre. So he won't have trouble settling in the dressing room. What do you think? Get involved in the comments. Let's see who's in. We have got Louis in, Ben Durrant, Andrew Fraser, Eric Clacton, Paul Carr, Jack Jones. Welcome to you. Yeah, what do you think to the signing? I think it's a decent, solid signing at this level. Obviously, with Connor Townsend sadly injured, he's out for the season. We did need replacement at fullback. He can obviously play both sides, but now we're a bit overstaffed on the right. We've got obviously Darnell, we've got Ashley Young, you've got Ben Johnson, Harry Clark, who is injured but could probably go out on loan. Who we got in here? Body suit guy, you get up early. Are you a postman? Steve Hilliard, good evening. Ryan, hello, a legend Ryan. How are you doing, mate? Hope you're good. Andrew says, any news on the Norwegian lad? Well, Phil says the Blues are continuing discussions with FC Nordsjælland regarding the signing of Norwegian international forward Sindre Wale Ageli. So, that's that one. Steve B, good evening. Louis says, Furlong is a smart signing, adds leadership and experience. I do think there's a chance now Johnson goes. Thomas Vale, do you reckon we sell Johnson or loan out Clark in January? Adrian, good evening. Adrian, good signing, makes us more solid at the back. Well, I think personally, I wouldn't be surprised if there's interest in Ben Johnson. He moves on. Reportedly, he's on a decent wage, and I think he's probably one that you could lose now. You've signed Furlong. Yeah, Eric says, will Johnson be off? I wonder. Steve B says Young will cover left back. Harry Clark, I would say he definitely goes out on loan, but I think we're at 27. I think now in the squad. Yeah, here we go. Phil from TWTD. Furlong, whose signing takes the players qualifying for the 20-man squad aged over 21 to 27, is the first of 3 players Town have been closing in with confirmed deals to sign Norwich midfielder Marcelino Nunez on a permanent deal. So that would be wrapped up, I'd say, in the next day or so. And we're going back in for Como striker Azon. We've got to speak in Spanish. Azon, not Azon, Azon. So that's back in the pipeline. I think now it's just a straight loan, whereas before it was with an obligation to buy. Right, who we got in here? Ryan says 2 more signs and I think we are done. ITFC bid Thank you for getting involved. Stephen Latimer. It suddenly got lively at Portman Road. Could be the busiest end to a transfer window for town in a few years. 1 in today, 2 more coming. Hopefully Nunez gamble will pay off. Jack Jones says, I wonder which player will leave. I think Wolfie be one. Well, interesting. So tonight I tweeted about Azon. Reportedly that he'd failed his medical from quite a few sources. Good evening, Mark Eagle. Hope you're well. Reported that he'd failed his medical. So I just tweeted that. Who liked it? Luke Woolfenden. All is not happy in Camp Woolfenden. Obviously, we spoke about his Instagram post last night. So looks as though he will probably be moving on. I would have thought now with Furlong can also play centre-back. I think he'll be out the door by Monday. Maybe alone, I don't know. But I think Luke needs to go and play football. He's obviously unhappy. And he's obviously making his feelings known, which is, some people say that's good. Others say it's not very professional, but I'm a massive Luke Woolfenden fan. Top guy. Been at town since he was a kid. So it will be a very sad day when he goes. And I think he will probably move on this window, which I think we'll all be sad because it's another one of the double promotion team disappearing out the door. But we do try and continue to improve. Let's Google. Get involved in the comments with your who do you think is going to go? Who do you think we will lose out of the squad? I will Google some Darnell Furlong. Let's see how many games he has played in his career. Here we go. Darnell Furlong. Get Wikipedia up. Michael says, I watched Norwich City podcast regarding Nunez going to Ipswich. They were fuming at the fact he's gone to bitter rivals. They could even mention Ipswich Town's name. It was that lot. Yeah, I watched that this morning with Jack and Chris at Talk Norwich City. I thought they were quite fair with what they said. I think we'd be feeling the same if one of our sort of better players had made the move. Louis says Nunez, Azon, Igeli. Hopefully one more centre midfielder before Monday. Also maybe Caracas. If I don't think we need that's the Uruguayan now. I think with Furlong, I think we can't get too many in. Ryan says, who would you pick for the centre midfield? Stephen says, I love the new animated picture of you. Shows your true colours. Is that his dad, Paul Furlong? I didn't know that, Eric. Hargreaves, O'Shea, really better than Wolfie and Burgess at this level, Paul Carr. Well, I think you have to try and improve. You know, look, Dar O'Shea, I think he's an international footballer. I think he's an upgrade on Woolfenden. Is Greaves a better player than Burgess? Probably not at this precise moment, but he's gone. So we just have to get behind the players that are at the club. Right, let's have a look at some Darnell Furlong stats. So he's been at West Brom 2019. He's played plenty of games. 31 games, 41, 40, 48, 42, and 3 this season. 1, 2, 3, 4 red cards in his career. The Baggies. QPR. 25, 22, 14. Look, he's played a lot of football. He's played a lot of football. I think he's a really decent signing. Derek Rice says, things starting to go the right way with these signings. A win on Saturday would be great going into the break. Yeah, I think it's really important Saturday that we get that victory. If you want to go and Stuart Isaac, so I'll come to that comment in a minute. If you want to go and watch me on the Final Whistle, which is a Leicester City podcast, so I'm on there every Thursday at 6 o'clock live with the host Jack and Steve, both Leicester fans, and we give our championship predictions. And so far, 3 rounds in, I'm at the top of the table. I've got 5 correct scores. So get over there, go and have a watch of it. It's about an hour long. I personally think it's a good watch, but then I'm going to be biased. I'm also on Where the Town Walk, which is on Spotify as a podcast and is also on YouTube. We record that on a Sunday night. It's normally out on Spotify on Monday morning and on YouTube by, I think, 6 p.m. It gets uploaded. With some Town fans. I think we've had over 2,000 views this week, so about 25 minutes long, worth a watch if you like your Ipswich Town content. John Cardy says, solid addition, Rich. Stuart Isaac says, what's it about West Brom players that we like? Stephen says, is Nunez a free kick specialist? Yeah, he scored one against us. Let's not talk about that. We don't want to talk about that. Michael says, when Ipswich and Norwich meet this season, it's going to be a feisty matchup, more so with Nunez in Ipswich Town's lineup. The Norwich City fan base will give Nunez a hard time when he touches the ball. If you go and watch Talk Norwich City, because Jack and Chris talk about him, obviously, playing in that game, and Chris thinks he should get battered. Their players should get stuck into him, but he basically says he doesn't know any English. So I think it's one of them ones where if he was an Englishman, I don't think you'd make this move, because you'd know with the rivalry and what it means. I think he just, like Chris says, I basically don't think he gives a shit. I don't think he gives a toss. Wanted to move to town for the last, I think, year. We've been after him, so we'll have to, when that transfer's confirmed, we can talk about it then. James says, West Brom are not saying the best things about him. Yeah, but I think you get that when a player leaves. Oh, he's no good, he's not very good. He can't do this, he can't do that. There's not many players that leave a football club and then they get spoke about in glowing terms. Right, we want get up to 30 likes before I go off. Probably do another 8 minutes. Ryan says he's gone to a bigger club. Yeah, get to 30 likes. We want 75 overall, but it's free. Hit the button, the little thumbs up. Just press it. Press subscribe as well. Michael says, is Nunez the replacement for Amari? Well, I would have thought the Norwegian kid would be his replacement. I would have thought so, but we'll just have to wait and see. Here's a question for you in the chat. Does Furlong start on Saturday? Will he make his debut from the start, I will say? I mean, you've signed him. He's been playing. I'd get him in the team. He adds a little bit to that leadership group as well, because he's obviously captain West Brom. He's 30, I think, on the 31st of October, he'll turn 30. So he's got a lot of experience, know-how, knows the league, played at Premier League level, Here's one for you. I still think that Town's transfer window business, call it what you want, I think it's been, you can leave your comments, you can disagree with me, you can agree with me. I think it's been a little bit scattergun, if I'm being totally honest. I mean, they talk about the dashboard and player trading. So Ashley Young doesn't fit the player trading. Cedric Kiprate doesn't fit the player trading. Stuart Isaac says, who do you think will go now? Wolfie and Taylor? Well, I think Woolfenden will probably move out. Jack Taylor, possibly. James says, we need to start playing our best 11 now. Surely players have had enough time to become match fit. But we're still signing players, James. So we're not going to find out the best 11 until into September. But yeah, I think it's been a little bit scattergun. I'm not quite sure what the plan is, Are we building just a team to get out of this league? Because I look now and think if we got promoted to the Premier League, I think we'd still need to make a lot of signings, Jack, the match preview will be out tomorrow. I'll do a live tomorrow evening, probably about 6 o'clock. Fresh trim tomorrow afternoon. Work summer party this weekend. Yeah, what sort of mood will I be in? Will I be happy? A few beers, celebrating the first 3 points, or a bit downcast, drowning my sorrows? But yeah, look, I think it's I don't know. We've got a lot of loans, haven't we, as well? So I'm not really sure. But we've got a decent squad for this level. We should be challenging at the top end of the division. But I think it was always going to be a little bit all over the place. When you're coming down, you're losing your better players. We all knew Delap was going. Still disappointed that really we still haven't signed another striker. I know Azon is coming. Paul Carr says the transfer window has been a total mess, in my opinion, with none of the direction we have previously seen under Ashton. James says, if we get promoted with all the add-ons and obligations to buy, will we be spending close to 30 million to have the squad we had in the Championship? Don't disagree with you there, Ryan. Tom Fellows, I think he's going to Southampton if he's not already signed for 10 million. We signed McAteer for roughly the same. You know, it is what it is. I think they've signed Finn Azaz as well. Southampton, they've obviously lost Fernandez and Tyler Diblin for about 80 million. Signed 2 players combined for about 22. So made about 60 million, which is fantastic business. Lewis O'Connor says, Furlong, what a quality signing. Bags of experience. Need that quality striker. Amarula says, Fellows in the 20 million bracket. I don't think so. James says we need another number 10. Eric says, yes, he's at the Saints. So we've got 3.5 minutes to go. If you could sign one more player, who would it be and what position? I've given you 3.5 minutes to get involved. If it was me and I had my Ipswich Town checkbook and I could sign a striker to not only compete with George Hurst, but to probably take his place, I'll be going for Ivanovic from Millwall. I've tweeted about him a few times over the past month. I think he's a very good player. Jack says he would take Josh Sargent. Now, that would be an absolute head loss from the Norwich fans. Right, Jack says Josh Sargent. Michael says Jamie Vardy. Ross agrees with me, the lad from Millwall. Good evening, Shane. Josh Sargent, Latte Laugh. Norwegian bloke, says Ryan. James says Latte Laugh. Ivanovic says Eric. Lewis says Azon, the new Pablo. Mihailo Ivanovic says Louis Fenton. I just think it's a bit of a no-brainer. I think he's played in this league, scored some goals for Millwall. He's at a good age. And we're going to sign a striker on loan from Spain, from Como, who's probably going to take a few weeks to get up to match speed. So, yeah, I don't really get that, if I'm being honest. But it is what it is. Amarula says Josh Maja. I think he's at West Brom. We could add him to the collective, of ex-West Brom. So when they have a 5-a-side now, I mean, David Button's not going to get in. He's going to have to sit it out, isn't he? Lewis says we will beat Derby Saturday 4-0 and things will look more rosy. James says I'm not convinced by Spanish loan. We could sign Emmanuel Dennis from Forest. Louis says William Boving. Yeah, they were linked with him, another striker. Tell me about him, Louis. Tell everybody who William Boving is, who he plays for, transfer fee, before we go. Because a lot of people might not know anything about him. But other than that, who watched Grimsby last night and Man United? Andre Onana. If you've not seen Mark Goldbridge, if you don't listen to Mark Goldbridge, you will, if you've never heard of him, you'll probably be thinking, who's Rich talking about? The head losses last night with him was absolutely quality. Big up to Grimsby, big up to the Mariners. Louis says, not convinced about a Spanish loan. Let's get someone from League One. Russell, good evening. If we've given Furlong a 3-year contract, I hope we at least offered Burgess a 3-year one. Cameron Burgess isn't here anymore. We need to get over it. He's gone. He's playing for Swansea. Don't worry. Stuart says, wait until Nunez signs. Remember Ian Crook. Yeah, of a certain vintage. We all remember Ian Crook holding a shirt up with a scarf around his neck. Jamie's leg wants Brownhill. Eric says, Derby have spent a few quid. Lewis Travis coming back. We need a permanent number 10, says James. Lewis, good evening. How are you? Smoking with Bob said hi. Anyway, that's me about done. I'm out of here. I've done 20 minutes. 75 likes on this video, please. And if you haven't subscribed, please head over there and hit the subscribe button. We had one or two. I lost a few subscribers the other day. Don't know why. Maybe they didn't like my thoughts on the Preston game. You don't have to subscribe if you don't want. Here we go. Louis Bovin, currently playing for Sturm Graz in Austria. Danish striker, can also play as a 10 and on either flank. 22 years old, available for 3 million. 11 goals in 30 games last season. William Boving's his name. Louis got all the info there. If you're watching this on catch up, leave your comments on Darnell Furlong signing for Town. Is he a good signing? If he is, tell me why. If he's not, tell me why. Finch's Rest Cemetery. If Nunez comes in, he's going to be kicked up in the air during the derby games. It's a big bedding in period now, says Ryan. John Cardy says, cheers, Louis. We will be back tomorrow night between 6 and 7 with the match preview. So get involved. Tell all your friends. We want loads of people in here. Derby County match preview. We'll go through, we'll have a look at what we think the teams will be. We'll have a look at Derby, how they've shaped up so far this season. A lot of signings for them from Blackburn. John Eustace visiting his old stomping ground. And we will get our predictions out. But anyway, cheers for watching, everyone. Hit the subscribe, share this stream with your mates, and we will see you tomorrow evening. Unless there's another signing tonight. See you all tomorrow.